Now this here is the A-10 Thunderbolt II, built by Fairchild Republic. And it's a rather unique aircraft here in our air park in that it is the only one, the A-10, that is still in the active inventory of the Air Force. Everything else that we have here in our air park, the other 35 other aircraft, were all retired. But the A-10 is still in the active inventory. It also has a very unique mission. It's designed to fly low and slow. So if you ever read in a book or see a TV show or a movie or a video game, and you see an A-10 depicted at 37,000 feet in air-to-air combat, that is not real. Because if this airplane was ever at 37,000 feet in air-to-air combat, it would probably lose because it is not designed or intended to perform that kind of mission. It is designed to fly low and slow with two missions and two missions only. One, to kill tanks, and two, to provide support for ground troops. And it performs those missions better than any other aircraft in the world. Now, the A-10's primary armament for performing those missions is this rotating barrel Gatling gun right here. And this Gatling gun fires 86 rounds per second. So in that amount of time, it's fired 86 rounds. 30 millimeter shells about that big, made out of depleted uranium that will pierce 6 inches of armor. Hence the nickname, the tank killer. Now, a lot of people see this barrel right here and they say, oh, okay, that's the gun. Well, this is the front of the gun. This is the back of the gun. The gun itself is about the length of 2 Volkswagens back to back. The pilot actually sits on top of the gun. It is a Gatling gun with wings. Speaking of wings, you can also hold 8 tons of armament on these wing pylons, whether it's gravity bombs or air-to-surface missiles or rockets. Now, the A-10 has been operational since 1976. So when Fairchild Republic engineers were working on planning this aircraft in the early 70s, they asked themselves some questions because of its unique low and slow environment. They said, what can we do to help enhance the survivability of the pilot? So what they did is they encased the cockpit in titanium. So basically the pilot is sitting in a titanium bathtub to enhance his survivability. Now, this aircraft here actually saw action during Operation Desert Storm, our short war with Iraq in January of 1991 and early February of that year. And it saw quite a bit of action in a couple of weeks there. It hit some trucks. It took out some radar sites. No surface-to-air missile sites, but I'll come back to that. It took out artillery. It took out armored vehicles. And it actually took out 8 tanks. So for a couple of weeks in January of 1991, this particular aircraft here was one busy little puppy. Now, it would have been good if it would have found at least one surface-to-air missile site, because this aircraft actually got hit by a surface-to-air missile on the 31st of January of 1991. It caused extensive damage here to the right wing, and actually there's still some shrapnel holes left in the cowling of the left engine from when it got hit. And when it got hit, it lost its hydraulics. Now, hydraulics are the mechanisms and the fluid that are used to control the aircraft in flight. So on most planes, you lose your hydraulics, the office day of the pilot is over. It is time for him to eject from the aircraft with his parachute. Hopefully he survives that jump and the aircraft is lost. But again, those engineers at Fairchild Republic, back in the early 70s when they were designing this aircraft, they said again, hey, it's going to be flying low and slow. It could get hit by a surface-to-air missile. What can we do to help enhance its survivability? Hey, let's put in a mechanical backup system. And that is what kicked in that day in January of 1991 when it lost its hydraulics. The mechanical system kicks in. It's kind of like driving a car without power steering, but it still enabled the pilot to return safely to his base. Now, back at that time, McClellan Air Force Base here was the depot maintenance site for all major maintenance and repairs on A-10s throughout the Air Force inventory. So in August of 91, they ferried this aircraft back here with the intent to repair it and put it back in the active inventory. Well, once they got it back here and took a look at it, they go, not going to happen. There's too much damage to the wing here. It's going to cost too much to repair. It's not economically feasible. So what they did is they just cosmetically repaired it, made it look nice, and we've had the aircraft here on display here in our air park. Now we have multiple generations of aircraft, military aircraft here in our air park, and we invite you, once our museum opens back up here, hopefully very, very soon, to come and see the aircraft up close, learn more about the history, because we have generations dating back to World War II to current inventory here. And these aircraft and the pilots and the air crews associated with them have performed their missions very, very well, sometimes in harm's way. So to those pilots and crew members and maintainers and other veterans, a job well done and happy Armed Forces Day.